To be fair.
So who's going to Nova?
Well, hello everyone. If you liked that amazing intro, it was because I am a technological master. You're like, did I show Brandon's face and a model during the entire intro? Yeah, I did. Did I do it on purpose? Maybe. I mean,
You're an expert. Words can't describe how much of an expert you are.
I am technologically savvy. All right. We've got myself, Mr. Brad Chester, Mr. Brandon Valley, who is I brought him on today. He specifically requested that he was coming on today because he is an expert on the cocaine animal selection of films. Quote, Brandon Valley. And then we got Mr. Brian Horton in the bottom, which I thought was actually a pack of Marlboro Reds as your background for a moment there. So I was like, we're really going old school here. But on my fourth window right underneath me, I am going to be scrolling through. These are models from Mr. Josh Ford. He does all kinds of awesome work, and just like I told you guys, I'm going to be doing different people on Thursdays and showcasing their models. If you want us to showcase your models, put them up in the Discord in a channel that I think someone created, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Yes, we can, Andy. You didn't know that? I don't understand if you guys have realized how easy it is to get my attention with something shiny. I can't keep any kind of focus, so we have to
You just need an interesting idea, and you can get on the Thursday show.
True story. I don't think Marlboro is allowed to sponsor anything anymore. Now, I was actually watching an old movie the other day, and one of my favorite things is doctors smoking in the hospital back in the day. You're like, how's it going? Just gonna talk to this patient who just was in surgery after I light up a Lucky Strike.
Non-filtered.
Of course.
And then you take the ashes and put them on the body.
That's like I was watching the new season of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and they're in a hospital, and the guy just had a heart attack and woke up from it. And his wife's like, oh, good, he's awake. Light.
Yeah.
Duh. Everybody knows that the best way to recover from a heart attack, light up a smoke. Sometimes you got to do stuff and things. So we've got some stuff to talk about today. And the thing is do we want to talk about why we have our local experts, Brandon Valley, cocaine animal movie expert, or do we want to talk about Nova first? I mean,
let's go. Brian, what do you want to talk about?
To be honest with you, I want to talk about cocaine animal movies.
Okay.
So first off, if everybody doesn't know, hold on, I'm going to the Wikipedia because there is one, by the way.
There's multiple Wikipedias.
Cocaine shark.
So let's provide a little bit of background. So
hold on.
2020.
But let's okay. Well, give it the background, but also I want everybody to know that we've now said that Brandon is the local expert because of the fact that he's seen all of the movies.
So in 2020,
Brandon has way too much time on his hand.
Maybe. So 2023 has been a flagship year for movies involving animals digesting large amounts of cocaine and murdering people. The first one that came out was Cocaine Bear, that came out late February while we were all at Cherokee Open. Then some B-level studios came out with two additional movies, Cocaine Shark, which we have the Wikipedia page up now, and Cocaine Cougar. In addition to those three movies so far, 2023.
And I thought Cocaine Cougar was just, older women in the late 90s.
There are at least three jokes about cocaine and cougars during that movie. So in addition to these three cocaine movies, there's three additional movies about animals on drugs that are being released before the end of the year. Crack-Coon, Meth Gator, and Cocaine Crabs from Outer Space.
Not
So that
gonna
means
lie.
there will be 6
Beth Davis.
movies.
Cocaine crabs from outer space. That is a mouthful of a title.
Meth Gator. Come on,
Meth Gator.
that just
Oh,
Meth Gator.
I-
Florida Man is a sequel.
I'm not
There's
even
so
reading
many
that
things
out
you
because
can
I
do
don't
with
feel like incriminating people, but the Rhinoceros has it right. So, Eddie does have the Eddie Funner fact. Josh Ford was going to win Best Painted at Goonhammer. He was also 2-1 with a good record, and he just kind of Forrest Gumped it and went, I'm kind of tired now. I'm just going to go home. Didn't show up for the next day. They didn't even bother collecting any of his hardware. It's just like, I'm out.
So, which cocaine movie should we talk about first, and why?
Well, one, I want to know a little bit about.
I also
I
watched
just-
all these in 3 days.
I didn't believe you at first, and then I pulled up the Wikipedia for Cocaine Shark here. It was like, this is a real thing. I thought maybe you were on
I
cocaine.
haven't seen Cocaine Shark yet. You need to tell me everything about it.
Okay,
Give us a synopsis, please.
So the best part about Cocaine Shark is that all of the sharks that they have are on cocaine, and it's a special cocaine, so it completely disfigures the shark. So the very first shark that they show is half crab, half shark.
So we're talking mutated sharks.
Yes,
Mutated
because of
shark on mutated.
because of experimental cocaine.
Why is it in the ocean?
Is this from Trauma Studios by any chance? I mean, this just
It's literally in that same neck of the woods. So Cocaine Bear was actually pretty good. It had a developed plot. It had decent graphics. It had a compelling storyline. They actually showed blood and gore. With that being said, I do love B-rate horror movies. I think they're absolutely fantastic. I'm actually part of a couple movie clubs. So after watching Cocaine Bear, we started getting all these. The Amazon Prime algorithm started recommending all similar adjacent movies where it recommended these two. So the first one I watched was Cocaine Cougar. It is a 52-minute long film where the cougar apparently sees an only red scale, and the graphics are about the same quality of Who Killed Captain Alex.
I'm just looking at this presser with it, with this helicopter and this giant, unbelievably fake-looking shark in the pic. They couldn't even get a good drawing of a shark. I feel like they actually said, hey man, has anyone ever seen a shark? Can you draw a picture of what you think it would look like if you saw a shark?
Well, so the studio that made Cocaine Shark made it another movie. I don't know if it was this year or last year because they could just turn them out so quickly. Called Count Shark or no, Sharkula, like Dracula but with sharks.
But Count Chocula?
No, like Dracula but with sharks, and it's the same like rubber animal that they use to show them all the attack scenes. It's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I mean you have to show the trailer for this. IMDb that bad boy and put that trailer up.
All
right.
Things are happening here.
So Cocaine Cougar is just funny because all they do is make cougar jokes, and like the guy's trying to call into the animal control, and they're just making cougar jokes. He's like, "There's no cougar in Los Angeles," and then they had like a 5-minute scene where this person is wearing the movie studio's T-shirt while performing a dance on camera, like doing a modeling session, and then immediately goes outside and gets eaten by a cougar.
It's got some fantastic actresses in it.
Oh yes.
I am so I don't even have words here. How much cocaine are you on to bring this up as an idea? And how many other people did you share with that they were like, yeah, man, we're greenlighting the shit out of this?
Do you think we can make this movie for 20 grand? I'm fairly positive we can. Let's do it.
Cocaine Cougar, there's no way they used more than $2,000 to film that movie.
This
the
was
graphics
filmed
are terrible.
on an iPhone.
They literally use nothing but
high cocaine escapes an animal testing facility and wreaks havoc on Los Angeles. Yes.
They use nothing but B-roll footage. Half the movie is just them showing like the pier, or like a pan of the mountains, or just like this couple walking, and you like try to get invested in them, but they don't say anything the entire time. They're just going to the carnival, and then like one of them dies.
Ah. Whoa! I like Mike brings it back to 40K. The same amount of cocaine that led to the Eldar Index. Oh man, I'm going back to some of Josh's models, but this one's also badass. Man, I'm so like,
If you have 3 hours, you can pretty much watch all 3 of these movies in 3.5 hours.
and he goes, they would have at least spent a quarter of the budget on cocaine.
Okay. Yeah.
So they don't actually show any of the cocaine in Cocaine Shark or Cocaine Cougar. They just don't show it.
That was the fun part of Cocaine Bear, was just watching him mow down.
Well, I mean,
Aquila.
that was one of the
Yeah.
that was the funniest thing about Cocaine Bear was the fact that it was something that happened. Obviously, they just made a wacky movie about it, but like a bear did just take in like 5 keys of coke and just go on a rampage.
He had it's a she, come to find out, and that bear had like 6 duffel bags full of coke during the course of the movie.
Strong.
Like, giant duffel bags, each with multiple bricks of coke, and somehow didn't die of a heart attack. Like, it's impressive. I
This is the best part about it is Cocaine Shark has KR comes in with Cocaine Shark has a 47 on Rotten Tomatoes, which is basically better than like the last 3-4 Disney movies.
Yeah. So if we're gonna rank the 3 of these movies, Cocaine Bear is definitely the best. Cocaine Shark is the next second best. Like, there's at least a plot they try with graphics and special effects. Cocaine Cougar is just absolutely fucking awful, but it's only 52 minutes. So if you just want to see weird looking people, respond to a shark or cougar that doesn't actually exist, it's pretty funny.
I need these movies to be related to each other. Also, I need the entire cinema universe, because in my head, Sharknado, Cocaine Bear, Cocaine Shark, these are all part of the same universe. It's like the MCU, but now it's the Cocaine CU.
I'm still waiting for Sharknado versus Polar Vortex. I don't know when that's coming. We need that movie, because I want to see polar bears in like a nor'easter and just like clawing at the sharks.
That sounds all
Before I go into which one's better, I do have to go to the wall. First off, Corey, as usual, trolls us commercials, but apparently the top post in the questions on Cocaine Shark is this based on a true story?
So
exactly. The Cocaineverse.
I have to believe that with the amount of cocaine that was boated across from South America to the United States, that some point in time, some coke fell off that boat and some shark ate it. So it's probable.
I love everything about Brad. They just call that betray.
Highly unlikely. It's probable.
It's probable. Oh, what's this? Oh, it looks like a seal that just eats some cocaine.
So here's the
It was in
question.
a gray duffel bag. Could have been.
Yeah.
So we've got like what, 15 Sharknadoes or something? I don't know. They went buck wild. The dude from
There
90210.
are 5 Sharknado movies.
So
And I've seen all those as well.
I want you to
Good
rate Sharknadoes, Cocaine Bear, Cocaine Cougar, Cocaine Astronaut, whatever we just said.
Cocaine crabs from outer space.
Rank these movies.
Well, I haven't seen that one yet.
Rank these movies for us in the Cocaineverse, as Lyle calls it.
Well, the Cocaineverse that goes Cocaine Shark.
No, I mean, but I'm saying I think that these are all the same. When you tell me that there's sharks in a tornado, this is all the same universe, bro. This is just like a
All right, hold on.
multiverse of madness. It's totally all in the same place. Also, look at this. Look at this model, by the way. This is boss mode.
It's amazing.
All right, so there's 5 Sharknado movies and 3 cocaine animal movies.
We need to have a ranking. As the resident,
I'm literally writing it down. Right
as
now, so
the
I can-
resident expert of these movies, we need to know.
All right, so if we're gonna rank these, I'm gonna go with Cocaine Bear being number 1,
Ooh.
top movie. Sharknado 2 being number 2.
They really expanded on the plot in Sharknado 2.
They did. So the difference, so Sharknado 1 had like the similar graphics of Cocaine Cougar. However, because of how popular it was, because of how off the wall it was, they had nothing but celebrities in there. There are cameos from all sorts of different places. The graphics were greatly improved. They were in New York City. It was a little more believable than the rest of the Sharknado series. So I give it a number 2. And then we'll go Cocaine Shark number 3. Sharknado number 1 will be in 4th place. And then Sharknado 3, 4, and 5 will be in 5th, 6th, and 7th. Sharknado 5 was just stupid because they ended up fighting sharks in outer space. But that is still a better plot and better graphics than Cocaine Cougar, which is in 8th place.
Wow. That's
so
fairly impressive.
between Sharknado 4 and 5, when there's nuke tornadoes and nuclear shark tornadoes, and then like sharks falling from the moon from outer space to attack people on Earth, better plot, better graphics.
Hold on.
Than Cocaine Cougar.
Whoa. As someone that's seen none of these, reel this back in for me, because you just said there was tornadoes coming from the moon with sharks.
They weren't coming from the moon, but they were sharks in outer space. They were flung up into outer space somehow, and they were eating astronauts and then coming back down. And I believe one of the characters literally fell from outer space and survived.
Yeah, that's like
what?
Hence why Sharknado 1 I didn't make it through, and then
which Sharknado movie had the time travel plot? That might have been 5. I get 4 and 5 confused because they're terrible. They're so bad. I think 4 was there were nuclear bombs, and then they were being sucked up by the Sharknadoes, and then they ended up in outer space. And then number 5, they had to reverse all the Sharknado damages, so they incorporated Stonehenge. It was very convoluted.
Nova is next week.
Tara Reid was in every single one of the Sharknado movies.
What?
Yes.
So basically, they went from 90210 to Sharknado. Just screw it. Let's do this.
Gotta love sci-fi.
Were the nuclear shark tornadoes part of Shark Thanos' long-term plan from his moon base? were the space sharks, the end game of the Cocaineverse?
Maybe. They never did say if the Sharknadoes were on cocaine.
I am wow. That is like a stretch, dude.
With your theory of cocaine falling into the ocean,
mm-hmm.
I mean, the odds that it got sucked up into
a water spout? Completely possible.
Oh, exploded. Wait, I've been pretty goddamn drunk. I've never been sharks coming from outer space eating astronauts drunk.
Brad, I'm going to step away from the camera because we have, I believe, the dog sitters here.
I do.
So I'll be back in just a minute.
So we will transfer over to talking about some Nova, and you know what? We'll probably go back because right now, in my mind, I can't get away from sharks coming from outer space to try to kill people, and then of course Cocaine Shark. The thing is it's not even just that these exist. It's just
before we move on from that, we kind of have to make like a Sharknado using some of the Idoneth Deepkin models.
Oh yeah,
just for Brandon to bring around with him from now on.
Nova Doom Rider is my Patronus. Oh man, yeah, I need all this stuff. Also, I'm pretty confident about doing stuff. I am not like show up with that idea in front of a board of people confident. What army is going to win Nova? Well, orcs, of course.
Sure. Sure. No.
Coked out animals is the next 40k faction. And it'll still win better than Votann is winning right now.
Oh. Yeah, that was quite a debate. We have two really adamant Votan players in our area who are not big tournament players as of yet, but have been dipping their toes into the scene. And they're like, what can they do to fix Votan? And I'm like, don't worry, they'll get a new codex and new units, hopefully before too long.
Oh, I might have to show this to people. So Lyle has now clued me into the fact that there is now a D&D, a DM had his campaign ran against a Sharknado, and they modeled it.
That's awesome.
I love, you know what? I'm actually going to show this to people because this makes me happy. But in the end, there's only Sharknadoes. In the grim dark, there's only Sharknadoes. I'm actually curious as to, besides Eldar, what's your pick? What are your thoughts on that? For Nova?
Besides Eldar, I actually think that Custodes have the potential to push into with Nova. I'm not I haven't read the Nova player packet. I fully admit to it. If they're doing the standard Nova terrain, Custodes do okay in that type of setup. If they're doing the GW table layouts,
I think they're doing GW tabs. I've got it. And they're also doing Purge the Foe twice, and we're doing Priority Targets twice, which are both not the best for Custodes. They're not bad for Custodes, you know what I mean? But when you max max their ability to take primary, so Priority Targets is a big deal because the Custodes can just sit on 3 objectives the entire time, and it doesn't matter because they're still getting a 10. Purge the Foe's similar, because they're not great at getting a ton of kills if your opponent just keeps away from you, so that your opponent can keep the primary very close.
So then I would probably, so outside of the top 3, right? I'm going to go with a little bit of a gut feeling that Tyranids might sneak into that top.
The shenanigans?
There's so many shenanigans.
Double Purge to suck for Biovores, true story. Yeah, because they basically consistently get smashed.
Yeah, but you don't have to make Spore Mines. Right? You can still just shoot the Biovores.
Uh-oh. Well, Jersey Mike's got it. He's calling his shots. T-Sun's new top dogs up to nerfs. I could probably get behind that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Well, we got to see the buffs too, though.
100%.
Yeah.
T-Suns are already a nasty army, though. Like, the fact that Magnus can literally Voltron a Wraith Knight, for instance, is kind of a big deal. Yeah, like,
well, and the fact that they have the ability to get around a lot of the lone operative shenanigans.
Yep, they just Doom Bolt's a hell of a drug. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So they have, I mean, Twist of Fate's just nuts, though. You know what I mean? You basically just hit people with high AP weapons sometimes and just go, or sorry, anything on that. Not a high AP, just high strength weapons. And just put a ton of wounds on somebody that doesn't get a save and just go,
yep,
go for it. That's a big deal. There's a lot of people that just don't even have involves.
Well, especially if you get the lethal hits combo off against something or you rip its armor save away.
Yep.
It's like, all right, bye, see ya.
Scrambler? No, I've got the I was just looking at the Nova packet, as a matter of fact. The only thing that they've got 2 missions that are chosen battlefield. So you've got 2 missions that you're deploying your own objectives. Besides that, everything's fairly normal. I think they've got 2 Purge, 2 Priority, and one I don't know if it's one, I can't remember now if it's one or 2 Hammer and Anvil, and 1 Dawn of War. And the Dawn of War is a chosen battlefield, so you're going to be putting your own objectives out, so you can really put that out fairly easy. Voltron is now a verb. 100% it is. You got Voltron.
So what do we think the top 16 is going to consist of? 10 Eldar players, 3 GEC? You think 8?
Eldar players. Yeah, because there's such a volume of people there that there's going to be a lot of Eldar versus Eldar matchups that'll knock themselves out. So I think you're going to see 8, probably 4 GSC, Chaos Space Marine, a Tyranid, and 2,000 Suns.
No Chaos Space Marines?
I put 1 Chaos Space Marine in.
Okay.
PSM just, man, can spike up so much damage, dude.
Yeah.
Woo. tis what it is. But let's look at the thing.
The trailer for Crackoon. Let's do it.
I was gonna put up the Nova. Here's the what do we got in order? We are playing Taking Hold, Search and Destroy. So board corners, Purge the Foe on diagonals, priority targets on Dawn of War. So, and that's chosen battlefield. So it's priority targets, which is maximum of 10 with, you know, each round, and chosen battlefield, which is basically put out your own objectives. And then Dawn of War is the thing. I knew there was something different. They are playing. It made me think of it when he said, "Are they playing the worst mission supply drop?" Yes, they are also playing Sites of Power, which basically says you get extra points for if you have a character on an objective. You get 6 instead of 3. And then we're playing the old supply drop, and then we got Taken Hold and a Vital Ground.
Okay, that's
I mean, they have 8 missions. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
So also,
So I got something for you, Brad. Do we know what armies people are taking yet, or does that have not been published?
Oh, I don't think it's been published at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't,
So-
I haven't even thought about putting in. I mean, I put it online for everybody to see, but they're like, "Hey, what are you taking?" You know.
So I know Eldar's going to do very good, but I'm kind of curious. What do we think is going to be announced for Space Marines? Because Space Marines are getting new codex in September.
Hold on, before we do any of that, look at this goddamn knight. That thing's so sick.
Beautiful.
And I'm
I
moving
need
on.
to.
I'm bringing mids and no one is surprised. True story. Is there a DOG team going to Nova? Yes, there is. I was on one of them, but then I now am up in the air about Nova. Like, basically, Odin and Zeus had a battle over my home last night and caused a lot of damage and caused damage to my rental. And yeah, things happen.
You've been having nothing but good luck with
Well,
thunderstorms this summer.
2023 has been the year of Brad. Nothing but smooth sailing all year so far.
Yeah,
Better
man.
watch out for that Sharknado.
He hasn't been in the hospital once.
No,
Financially, he's amazing. It's all good.
I'm flush with money and my health is perfect, guys. It's all good. And also, no weird shit has happened. You know, like tornadoes.
Oh.
I don't know. Gods fighting outside. I've never
Golf
actually
ball
heard.
size hail. Yeah, it's a good time.
I've never even heard thunder like last night. That was bonkers town. Woo! Yeah, that storm was nuts. It was seriously crazy town. And
It's
my
like
house is
I have
underwater.
a couple of non-Warhammer friends in Toledo. One of them sent me a picture of a tree across his car and went, "I think I'm going to be late to work today."
Nice. Uh-oh, we got a night list with a Valiant when you make the top 10. So it's a good thing. Uh-oh, I love it. Jinxed it. Yeah, it was fucking crazy. It was just bonkers town. It was so insane last night. But yeah, damage to my home. I had to fix some things, and I don't know the extent of the rest of the damage, so I have no money. So I still have a ride, and Crowley said I could crash at his place. So I have to steal. My new plan is to every morning and every afternoon wait for someone to not be looking at their plate. I'm just going to steal it and run away. So that's what I'm going to eat all weekend.
So pretty much, you're going to be able to get at Nova. You'll be able to get favors for ham sandwiches.
Exactly.
I'll gladly trade you coaching for a
Yeah,
ham sandwich
Today.
and a bottle of wine.
Yep. So I figure I just do protein drinks, wine, and stolen food all weekend. And that's how I'm going to make this work. Nova is next weekend. So that's why we're excited about it today, because I will not be a part of the Thursday show, and I'm already going to guilt trip both of these gentlemen into doing it next week. Well, I'm not going to guilt trip Brian. He already is part of this. He just knows that he has to now. He's roped into it. He's a
Next
fool.
week, I will not be available next week Thursday. We'll just put that.
Boo!
I know.
You can sell plasma. No one wants anything that I'm going to give to them, man. Anything out of my body is worthless. Let's be honest.
Yeah, like, I'll be out of town, Brad.
Oh, that's
Remember,
true.
I'm coming to come visit you.
Oh, that's true. Teams is Thursday. Yeah, that's exactly. Dean has it right. Teams is Thursday. The GT is Friday through Sunday. GoFundMe for Brad's bar tab. That is true. Also,
as someone who has picked that up once, don't do that. It's an expensive GoFundMe.
In Washington, D.C., yeah, I would not recommend that.
And no, what kind of pennies on the dollar are you getting from my plasma? Jesus. like, yeah, man, I'm on death's door, but I'm going to wait another day and see if I can get something that didn't come out of that decrepit old man's body.
I want to know where this German American Festival is, Corey.
The Gaff.
What, is this in Toledo?
It's in Toledo. It is a festival that I finally went to after years of not going to because I was involved in a giant incident that was not my fault. And I did not go back for a long time.
Is it all weekend or is it just Friday?
It's all weekend.
Oh, well, I guess now Eloise and I have plans on Sunday.
Nice.
Go take it to the Gaff, yo. How have you never been to that? You live close enough where you could have been here.
Because I would just go to the Cleveland German American Festival, which is 4 days long and way better.
Weak sauce. Yeah, but how many giant brawls have you been in at a festival?
Zero. But how many shots of Jägermeister have you done at a German American Festival?
Oh, so many more than you can count. Jaeger Brad, as I'm known internationally, knows these things.
You did buy out an entire Polish town of Jägermeister, so I can't really compete with that.
I love the Gerbil boss. We'll get a hold of you on this one. He goes, is there any DLG teams looking for an extra player for Nova? Weirdly enough, there might be a spot open.
Yeah.
It was good times.
Yeah, if Gerbil, if you sent Brad a message, he might. Well, actually, should I tell him the adults in the room who to send the message to?
Yeah, probably.
All right. So. Reach out to Kyle Treya and see. Just message him.
Yep.
Well, hold on.
If you want something done, email somebody or message somebody that Brad's adjacent to, and then you'll get.
Yeah, don't reach out to Brad.
Look, I'm going to explain to you guys the real deal about Jaeger. Jaeger bombs are a travesty, a heretical mixture. Yeah. No one
of deliciousness.
No.
Oh no, terrible.
No,
so
Jaeger by itself. You don't mess with the nectar of the gods. You serve it frozen, cold, and that's what you don't put any feeble other concoctions and lictors into it.
So what you're telling me is you just like drinking cough syrup.
Yeah, who doesn't? And then I'm going to follow it up.
Robo tripping's way cheap.
I'm going to follow it up with a Listerine backer.
Seems a bit much.
Yeah.
But so we've got Nova. We have no changes going into Nova. And we're thinking that Eldar is going to be the big dog because they have, but it's not like they've won every tournament. You know what I mean? They're just the favorites at the tournaments. We've had, of course, GSC. We've had Custodes. We've had Thousand Suns win in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Chill out, Benny Ford. He's like, that's the first step. Black Sambuca.
Who does like Sambuca? Eloise likes Black Sambuca.
Oof.
She loves all the black licorice flavored drinks.
True story.
It is disgusting. So we only have one type of candy in this household, and it's black licorice. There's so much black licorice in this household. I am ashamed to admit how much black licorice there is here. There's at least 6 bags of black licorice in our house.
I love everything about Zach goes, how else do you think Brad makes it through the day? Jaeger tastes like waking up.
You know, Brad, your health issues picked up when you stopped drinking Jägermeister. Maybe
this is true,
the Germans were onto
actually.
something.
This is true. I had many more health problems once I stopped drinking so much Jaeger. Andy, son of a bitch. But what non-Eldar thing is going to win the top? Ready? Actually, call your talk 16. We've got it.
At Nova?
At Nova, we bracket. at the Nova Open, we are going to do exactly. Basically, I would say we're going to bracket like GW, but GW brackets like Nova. Nova was the first. I have to give props to that. That started the 16-person brackets on day 2. You play 4 games, and then after you play 4 games, you get put into a bracket of 16. The brackets are 1 all the way down to however many people we have, and then you play 4 more games inside your own bracket, which I actually quite like a lot, because it puts you into people that are doing similar in record and everything else to you. So a lot of times you have the middle and the lower, they get to play to win. So that there's people that have literally gone 0-4 and then went 4-0. And I like the idea of having another tournament, basically. You know what I mean? Inside.
Are they doing an invitational this year? I know in years past they had.
I don't know, to tell you the truth. I haven't.
I didn't see anything on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
In years past, we have had the invitational.
So what
It
armies
depends.
score very well? I feel like Custodes will do really well.
Custodes are always going to do well, but they're not playing the standard Custodes missions. Like, again, we're talking about the Nova, packet on this, because we're playing exactly 0. Sorry, we're playing the 1. We're playing one hammer and anvil, which I think is like the bread and butter of that. And I think Custodes are good all the time, but I think that they dominate on hammer and anvil because they basically just push up and just go what. So that's a big deal.
Right.
So,
Was there a Dawn of War mission in that first 4?
That's the thing is that here's the first 4 missions to see what we're going to bracket. And then we'll talk about who we think's going to win.
Okay.
So mission 1, taking a hold, search and destroy, the most basic of basic missions. Score 5 for each one, board quarter deployment. Second one is purge the foe, crucible battle, which is diagonal. And then we've got priority targets, which is chosen battlefield, which is deploy your own objectives, Dawn of War. And then you've got the 4th mission, which I think is the deciding mission, which is the one that is really good for Custodes, which is Sites of Power, which is extra. Instead of 3 points per objective, you get 6 points if you have a character on the objective, and that is hammer and anvil. So they literally just take their units with the shield captains attached and the blade champions attached and literally move into the middle and go, I'm scoring 6s, you're scoring a 3 kind of thing.
No, you just take assassins. Do lone operative assassins. They're characters. They have lone operative.
Yeah.
They could just be there turn 1.
No, that's the thing, that you have to take it. They'll just charge you and punch you in the face. Your assassin's like, I'm so sneaky, standing in the middle of the board. And then a guy just punched me in the head, and I was less sneaky. And I was also dead.
So, all right. So looking at those missions. So how many people are at Nova? How many are in the main event?
There's 215 people currently registered.
All right. Math that out. 4 rounds. That leaves more than 16 undefeated? No.
256 would leave exactly 16.
Exactly.
So there'll be 15 undefeated. 15 or 14.
14.
All right. So you're going to get...
It also depends if we get any draws.
So I assume you're going to get 5 Eldar right off the bat at a minimum. Mathematically. Because they're probably going to be 20% of the field.
Let me address real quick the wall real quick, because I want to agree with you. I still love Paint Celestine, the name, but I think Guard is terrifying. She goes, some Guard legend is going to rock up with 9 indirect early pieces, just shell the meta into oblivion. That list is terrifying. Skark from Poland crushed at WTC with Guard, and that is actually a terrible matchup for Eldar, especially if they go first, depending on the board, because they can just bomb them. They can go, hey, one of the biggest strengths of Eldar is their bullshit shenanigans where they can't see them. If you're firing all artillery, you don't care. So that, that's a big thing, and I agree with that. That is a big spoiler list.
So 215 seem low for Nova. I think it's a mixture of people are already burnt out. They don't want to play against Eldar 8 times in a row. And like, I've had a couple conversations with people offline about like what they want to do, what tournaments they want to play in, and they're just avoiding tournaments. It's not fun to play against Eldar and GSE, 6-7 times in a row.
I think with GSE, I agree with what Brad said the other night. where once you know how to play against GSC, they're not as strong of an army. They're still a strong army, don't get me wrong. They're just not as strong because you know what your tactics are against them. So I think GSC will start coming in line sooner than later. But I don't know. Eldar is just the boogeyman of boogeymans. I see a Wraith Knight against me unless I'm going first with a lot of good firepower with a lot of range. That Wraith Knight terrifies me.
And if they're doing regular GW terrain with the same height, like that Wraith Knight or Chaos or Imperial Knights are going to be shooting the entire time.
Yep.
So we should probably say, hey, Knights are going to be up there. I think
real quick,
Carmona has a pretty good analysis.
I do. I actually like what Carmona said on this, and I'm gonna go. Also, Dribble, there's nowhere to put your list. Lists are literally due like the day before. Carmona's going with 4 Eldar, 2,000 Suns, 2 Custodes, 3 GSC, 2 Knights, 2 CM, and a Partridge in a Pear Tyrannid.
That's a pretty fair assessment.
I think Necrons will be up there. Necrons will score very well.
Yeah, I think the missions actually are pretty good for Necrons on this one too. So
I think Necrons are more likely to do better than Thousand Suns and Nova missions.
I don't know. It's the thing about Thousand Suns is it depends which layouts we use, to be honest with you. Because if we, for instance, we do some of the like board corners on, say, we do type 3, the objectives in the open. And if you're Thousand Suns and you leave objective in the open and you try to put that lone operative unit and or just carry whatever it is, whatever your lone operative is, they'll just doom boat him to shit. And all of a sudden they're scoring 10s and you're scoring 5s. You know what I mean? It's a big deal. Also, I don't know why you guys didn't put me in the top 16. That's hurtful.
Because you don't even know if you're going yet?
Exactly.
Just say I'm good. I'll get in the car with Tom, whether I have a ticket or not. I'll show up.
Does Tom even have a ticket? Is Tom in there registered?
Look, man, we don't worry about these little things like tickets and registering. It's crazy.
Is Tom playing Tau? If Tom's playing Tau, I want to see him in the top 16.
No, Tom's gonna play Eldar. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
We've got a list for Tom. The best part about it is I put it in the, and I've been working on it for a while. And the first day that I worked on it with him, I titled the list in the GW app as Tom's a Bitch. And it's never changed the title. So it's just, the working list that we're using is still called Tom's a Bitch. And that makes me happy.
Poor Sisters of Battle. It's so dumb.
Yep.
No, but I think Necrons have really good secondary play. We would be really amiss to say, hey, they don't have a chance in the top 16. They're 100% going to be 1 or 2 Necron players in top 16.
They could definitely.
Mr. Kyle Trail just went out and said 100% he will be in the top 16 with demons. Write it down in blood on stone.
I'm still not sold that demons are amazing, but I could see him as a top 16 winning 4 games. It's possible. It's possible.
Matt comes in with 1 Sisters, 1 Death Guard, and Imperial Guard. If that's in the top 16, New York rocked it out. Also, Celestine, it is true. So, Necrons can attach 2 characters and Cryptothralls to Lich Guard, and that's 5, but Sisters attaching a Cannoness and an Imagifier. Way too much. They'd be OP. Everybody knows it.
Yeah. We had quite the conversation Tuesday night at the store at our game night about what we could do, what could be done to fix Sisters. And all of us had the exact same answer of just call it like a Sanctus multi-melta and give it anti-vehicle 4+. And that probably helps them out immensely.
Not really.
And make it more than 18 inches.
The problem is the 18 inches. The problem isn't the anti-vehicle. Actually, one of the biggest things, having played Sisters of Battle 1 time so far in this edition, it's the fact that you can't join any characters at any respectable units. So Paint Celestine has it right. Like, yeah, you could join a Cannonist to a unit of Sacrosanct, which are a bodyguard unit, but you can't join the Imagifier or Hospitaller to give him Feel No Pain or 2-up save. And it's just pointless. Like, you want to have, you get a trade-off. You either get slightly better defenses or slightly better offense. You don't get both. But
I do love that Matt sitting there with just let Melta go. Just let it go.
No.
Oh man.
Look, I want sisters to get some love. Could be because I have a large sisters army sitting in the attic. It's distinctly possible, but
You have a large everything sitting in either the attic or the basement.
it's not true. I do not have Drukari.
I don't believe you. You
I
have
don't.
I think you're gonna find that you actually do have one. It's just gonna be like finding the lost ark. Oh look, I do have a giant Drakari army. I had it here the whole time.
You probably have one
Yep.
from 3rd edition.
No.
calling it right
I'm telling you, I don't have Drukari. I've gone through pretty much everything. I do not have Drukari. Surprisingly, found like 1,000 points of custodes when I was cleaning up the last time, but I do not have Drukari.
So
I actually think Sisters could do pretty well. I don't know about 4-0 well, but I think they could win a bracket. They just have so much trash.
sisters have the ability to score points, and that
Yeah.
makes it so that they can actually win games. Boxes of GW hiding the bodies, 100%.
Also, can we have leaders keep their buff even when the unit dies? Yeah, I don't understand that one bit. It's like, hey, I have this Crisis Suit commander who gets to reroll ones, only if he has Crisis Suits to join. He just can't do it by himself.
They really didn't want characters affecting themselves.
I'm down with OPP. Yeah, you know me.
All right, so we have our predictions. So what's going to be released? What do you guys think? Do Space Marines convince me that Space Marines aren't going to be trash when the new codex comes out?
They're not going to be trash.
They're totally gonna be
one.
trash.
They're going to have a codex, which makes you so good in a world.
Tell me about
of
how
no codex.
Necrons when Necrons got a codex in 9th edition and what happened with them.
Well, it took them an edition to change it, and then they became awesome by their secondaries. It's all good. Well, Kyle says if we play the ATC rules, demons are cracked. Which time frame are you talking about for ATC rules? The 8 o'clock rules, the 9 o'clock rules, or the 10 o'clock rules?
Is it pre-air conditioning or post-air conditioning rules?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. My thing is that I think that Marines, because we're going to get a new, with the Codex, we're going to get some new units. We're going to get new points on all the existing units. You know what I mean? And I think that you're going to get more options. You'll have more strats. You'll have more abilities. And I think you'll have a lot more command abilities. The thing is you have an infinite amount of freaking captains and lieutenants. There's so many lieutenants. My God, there's so many lieutenants. So you got people that can get into everything. If they also price them appropriately, you're going to have a lot of units with a lot of really good abilities, be it sustain, lethal hits, things of that nature. And we're going to see what the price on it. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of these things, Marines could be good. Marines are one of the things that need a couple abilities and a couple points, and I think they'd be reckoned.
And they need some better maneuverability without having all their units thrown at the wood chipper.
I mean, I just think that they're going to redo
you're going
all
to get
those.
7 to 8 new units, right? That's what the math says on the amount of units they're going to get. So you're probably going to get new jump Marines. You're going to get a Primaris scout replacement. There's probably going to be something else with bikes.
Yeah, I think you're going to get a Primaris version of almost all the things that they lost.
Yep.
If I would have to guess.
And I mean, I assume the Brutalis Dreadnought will get released on its own. You'll have Desolation Marines that get released on their own finally.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the units have already been released could count as a new box. So like Sternguard, I don't imagine there's going to be a dramatic change with Sternguard now that they just have a new box. Like, there's a
it's going to be interesting to see. Like, do they make combi weapons be combi weapons again, or do they just stay with their random, bizarre rules that they have?
So I was actually chatting with Sean about
Twin Lake
this
Mortals.
today. If you look at the Leviathan box set, there's actually 3 different profiles for combi weapons. There's a combi flamer for anti-infantry 4+, combi plasma for anti-monster 4+, and combi melta for anti-vehicle 4+. They were all strength 4 AP 1 shot, but they dealt mortals. So, like, would Sternguard or Space Marines be more viable with actual combi weapon rules? I think so.
I do too.
The Sternguard have actually impressed me a bit in the tournaments that I've seen them in, especially with Oath on them. You just search for mortals. You put a lot of damage on people. That's just my thought on that.
I think scouts are going to come back. I think they're going to be released as one of those kill teams, to be honest. I think it'll probably be 10 scouts with like 2 guys with sniper rifles and a guy with a missile launcher.
They're in the fluff still. You know what I mean? That's why I'd be surprised if they
That's what I'm saying. The
keep going.
Primaris Crusaders, right? The Primaris Crusaders have scouts in them.
Yep.
The neophytes.
I assume there's going to be a Primaris scout. They'll name it something else.
And then we already knew we were getting a new version of all the jump pack. Right about the time they gave witness protection to all the jump pack units.
Look at Space Marine 2, right?
Yeah.
In Space Marine 2, the video game, there's a jump pack Primaris Marine.
Yeah, I just think that
Pretty
they're
obvious he's coming.
Yep, they're gonna have every single jump pack guy is going to have a Primaris version because they just went. We're not even giving you a model for these, so you're gonna have, Wolfguard. I'm assuming that they'll do something with Blood Angels. Actually, I don't know if they'll do anything with Blood Angels in the original codex, to be honest with you. I think that they might be waiting for their book.
No, they're going to wait till when they get released. Same thing with updating the Black Knights and updating other Dark Angel characters and Terminators.
And it wouldn't surprise me if they release another Landspeeder variant with this, because the triple build out of the one, it wouldn't surprise me if there's another like smaller, lighter version.
And it's a big deal on that. So I think that you need that mobility, though. And you need it to not be outpriced, too. Because right now, I think the jump pack troops are just wackily too much.
I want a Primaris Thunderfire Cannon. Let's do it.
You can fit 3 of every
Do we
lieutenant.
get a Primaris artillery piece wouldn't be bad that's not the Thunderstrike or whatever the hell it's called, servo turret of doom.
Fire Strike Servo Turret.
Yeah.
I love everything about this. We got 2 posts. You can fit 3 of every lieutenant nobles, 2 of every captain in a 2K list, and you can take 3 of every lieutenant is 1080. I'm totally doing it.
Yeah, if you play Spaceballs, you can fit 34 characters at 2,000 points.
I'm going to take every special character, all of them.
That's actually one of the things that somebody was talking about was like, as they nerf things, right? As in 2 weeks, because I assume it's about 2 weeks away from the FAQ. And we get the change. Is someone running a 30 character army going to be viable? Because they can hide easier. It's easier mobility. You can get to things. You get more points on objectives sometimes.
It's just it depends on their yes. Well, it also depends on whether people are letting you take fixed or not. A lot of tournaments have just said straight up you can only do tactical. So it doesn't even matter at that point.
Which tournaments have said that?
Multiple tournaments have done that. I think. Did you do that at Salt City? I think you just did tactical.
I did that at Salt City because I felt like there was too many builds that at that point before the first wave of nerfs came in.
Yeah.
That it was too easy to build for.
But a couple tournaments have done stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, in the thing is that it'll depend on the viability of the characters. The characters have to be either really cheap or have a good output. Or be lone operative, to be honest with you. Any character that is lone operative, that's why I like the Changeling, for instance, is amazing. Cheap lone operative is your go-to. You know what I mean?
It's like is the next Eldar build the lone operative build? Right.
So what do they have that's lone operative right now?
They don't.
So you got Death Jesters.
It will say
Solitaire.
Death Jester, Solitaire, Iliac, and
Winged guys.
in the Autarch Wayleaper.
Yep. I mean, right there you've got 8 characters that are relatively cheap in price that have lone operative. They can really just control your back of the board, and if you put enough chaff as trash as Brad calls it in front of them, you have to chew through that stuff to get to them.
I'm glad you answered, Brad. So what's the over-under about an hour-long speech by Mike Brand at Nova? I'm saying over.
Over. It's his baby.
Yeah, it's his thing. How involved is he with Nova still, though?
I don't know.
Think he is.
I still think his mom's. The whole thing is his mom's charity is still the one that's in the back of it, though.
Right, but isn't Justin Curtis in charge of 40K now?
I'm not 100%
No,
sure.
it's Sam is.
Or Sam, I'm sorry, Sam Blue City. I'm sorry, getting my areas confused in my head.
Ravenwing Talonmaster still exists. They're 115 points. What killed them is the fact that instead of getting extra shots, they're just Twin Link now. So they have 3 Twin Linked Heavy Bolter shots and 6 Twin Linked Assault Cannon shots. But they still get Lone Operative. Like, they could just give each other Lone Operative. I've actually been looking at them for Dark Angels.
Legit deal. Bonus points if he's singing a song. There's a 100% chance that he's singing a song on acoustic guitar. I mean, that just happens.
If it's after midnight,
Yeah, that's for
there's
sure.
100%
Drinking
chance.
Get a Guitar comes out at all of the tournaments he's at. So, and I'm down with that. I'm a old hippie at heart with that kind of stuff.
And immediately, if you ask him to play Oasis, he won't.
So Kyle brings up an interesting question. What army's been the worst the longest?
Most every army has had their time in the sun. So are we talking about like from right now, armies that are bad?
No, I would say 8th and 9th edition and
Or
see.
just 8th and 9th? I was to say, because we've had armies that have been perennial meh for years and years and years.
Imperial Agents.
That's not even an army. We've had this argument before. It is totally not an army.
It totally is an army. All the Inquisitors.
So
Grey Knights were pretty bad for most of 8th and 9th.
no, because they were amazing for a little while. They were the army for like 3 months.
Yeah, they had their one moment. Who didn't have any moments in 8th and 9th? I mean, seems like every army had a spot for a little
Sisters
bit.
were good for a little bit. Death Guard actually was when they first got their codex because they were one of the first codices. They were just super durable and people had issues with them and everybody was complaining about Morty. So they've been decent. Death Watch has been decent. People like figured out how to do well with them. They got really screwed for a while just because their codex was released mid-COVID. Like no one got to play with them for a while.
Yeah, and AdMech had their moment in the sun.
Weekend at Bernie's Anva. Anva has been dead for a hot minute. So
I still need to get a model of that. I can't justify dropping Farsight for Anva, but Anva is a fantastic model with Lone Operative.
I don't know. Mike goes Raven Guard 100%, but like I crushed with the Raven Guard in 8th edition. So that was a thing back then too.
I think during 8th and 9th, pretty much every army had a spot, at least for a short period of time where they were decent.
Oh, that's true. So it's CSM.
The one wound KS Space Marines.
I mean, but the CSM still had play. They were still doing well. You know what I mean? Members' Children still had some play. You know what I mean? So like, while they weren't top, they were still doing well enough. It's not like they weren't, representing in tournaments. I'm trying to think if anybody's been shit for all of 8th and 9th.
I mean, Guard was pretty bad in 8th, but they had a couple bright spots.
Yeah, but in 9th, they dominated.
And I was like, in 9th, they had some good times.
We have 2 votes for Imperial Fist. I could see Imperial Fist.
No, but Imperial Fist at the time that when it was what's his face, the Brohammer list and my Raven Guard, Manny brought Imperial Fist with just artillery spam, and that list was doing really well. Snakes played the same thing, where you just bomb people with no cover. So that list, even sad Imperial Fist have had their day. So
yeah, but that died early on.
Anything directly that was just that didn't have a spot in the sun in those 2 editions. I think every army had a little bright spot.
Yeah. Also, a spider just walked by that was so big he mean mugged me, and I'm pretty sure he just moved in. But I was just like, dude was not afraid at all of me. He was very irritated that I looked over. But I don't know if anybody's been terrible for the whole time, to be honest with you. I mean, if that was more back in the old days, you know what I mean? Like when we had 4th and 5th edition for a while, 4th, 5th, maybe even 6th, we had armies that were just bad for a decade kind of thing.
3rd through 4th Tyranids were just trash.
Brutal. You basically brought gaunt spam or nothing. So.
Yep. And then in early fifth, they had the Carnifex spam that they could do.
Yep, I was
That
just
was
saying.
okay. Yeah.
So that's a thing on that. I don't know. Anybody, give me anybody in the chat real quick before we rock and roll out. Is anybody, and we have to give GW a little props because they're doing some shit now, but like they have done a genuinely okay job of a lot of things. It will only in 8th and 9th, everybody, because I can tell you like armies that were bad from 5th to 8th, basically. True story, bad on that. Sisters were lost on the wilderness from 5th to 8th. True story.
Yeah.
I don't even. Now Votan killed it. They still can, Votan can still pick up your army, so I can't say that they weren't doing. They've also won a couple tournaments. They got like unceremoniously nerfed pre their army being legal, basically.
Yeah.
Titans, yes, Titans have definitely been the worst. Titans have the least amount of tournament wins because you can't even take them.
There you go.
Sisters of Silence. Sisters of Silence.
Nope. Mike Henderson's showing you how it's done.
He hasn't won a GT with them yet.
That's
he is the highest ranked Sisters of Silence player in the world, though.
Is there any others?
There's one. The last time I checked, which was a couple months ago, there was one other.
I'm totally checking this. ITC rankings. I need to find out if there's any other Sisters of Silence. To look for a faction, I have to click on somebody with that. How the hell do I search a faction?
The easiest way to go about it is search Mike Henderson
And then click on
Sisters of Silence. Yeah. I don't know what happened from 9th to 10th, but the entire FLG ranking system has just been a dumpster fire. Like, it's way more difficult to look through, and they are a faction. They're Sisters Anthema.
Yes, but in GW's mind now, they're not a faction anymore.
100% are. In spirit. Just like Kroot is a faction.
Spirit.
Just like Kroot.
Only because you put Kroot inside suits now. I can't even find this. I'm out.
All right, I'll look because I know that you're technologically incapable.
Sister Society, exactly. Sister Society Artifaction. Poor girls. They've got good fluff.
They do have good fluff. I have to agree with you on that one.
I mean, also the fact that their mere presence effectively drives you insane because they don't have a warp presence. You're like, small price to pay for being good on the battlefield. Can I pour one out for regular Orc Boys? Yes, you can.
So what's wrong with regular Orc Boys?
They're just semi-pointless.
So Brad, I'm gonna throw something out of left field at you here. If GW, when they come out with the next season, so when Leviathan season is over and we go into whatever season that next one is, they go back to a very old school, and this is going to be bringing it back many, many years to, hey, 25% of your army has to be battle line.
They'd have to change battle line because we used to have a lot more troops, you know what I mean? There was a lot more things in the troop slot when you did your army comp, and now there's not. And they also have taken away a lot of the things that you can do in the troops. Because if you remember, when you took a Marine, especially if you took a Chaos Space Marine, those guys had options for days. You know what I mean? You could juice those dudes up, and you could do a lot of things. We're not doing that anymore because we're giving everything for free, and we've taken so many out. So I could see them doing a comp as far, if you're going to go old school on that, if they went more of a old school army composition, 3-3-3 kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
what if they just said, what if they just said like 500 points of your 2,000 point army has to be battle line?
Certain
does
armies
that on its own balance things?
No.
Or does it make just GSE too good?
It would just make the armies.
Custodes.
Yeah, the Custodes and GSC would just ruin you because they would just spam their battle. Nothing would change in their list, and you would be bringing a shittier list. Yeah, I mean, they used to. That's the thing, Matt goes, it's full fantasy, but like that's how 40K was forever. Fantasy
Yep.
has Lords, Heroes, Core, Special, and Rare. We have Heavy, Elite, Fast, HQ, and Troops. You know what I mean? We had that forever.
Yeah,
So-
Lords of War and Flyer.
There was percentages and things at one point in time. Fantasy kept that for a long time.
Well, you could do that. You could say you could only take
40K went away from it at one point.
because of the fact that we've made everything single model and no squadrons. I don't think you can have a certain number. I think you should. If you were going to do something like that, you would have to do points. Points or percentages, basically.
Yeah.
So you could say that you could have effectively 500 points of your army. The problem is that if you do something like that, it's too hard anymore because of the fact that you can't take off one guy, take off one gun. You know what I mean? So for a lot of
Right,
armies,
that's
it's
what I'm
just
saying, like, if they said, you had to have a minimum of, let's just say 250 points of battle line, right? Which is not an unreasonable total. Would that help balance things a little bit? I know Custodes in GSC.
it's just it would just be certain armies that have good battle line. They'd have to put more things in battle line. They could possibly do it once we get more codices and we just get more things in the battle line department. But otherwise, no. You're just nerfing some armies and you're already.
Or they could just bring back force organization charts, problem solved.
The problem is, though, that nothing is in indexes is labeled as elite fast tech.
I mean,
Yeah.
they could just put out a digital document saying, "Hey, we're bringing out force
And-
organization."
Yeah, and the thing is I agree on that.
Find index cards, by the way.
I'll go to. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
My GW rep today told me that they are discontinued and no longer available.
Yeah, they're going to change too many things. Let's go to the wall real quick. Matt's like, the genie's already out of the bottle. Probably. I'll go to Inner Circle. Brad, what matchups for your orcs would you consider the hardest, almost gatekeeper? Custodes are like laughably the hardest match. It's not even close. Just the fact that the orc shooting is not super reliable. So, and them having good saves, high toughness. The bigger problem is that their fights first and their full rerolls. So they can just pick up the durable units that you try to punch them with. So for my style, I think that like the Tarzan list has a better chance against the Custodes, and I have a better chance against the Eldar. So his list has a real problem versus Eldar. Mine has less of a problem versus Eldar and more of a problem versus the Custodes because I'm trying to punch my way out of it a lot. So that is by far my worst matchup. Everything else I can just score against. And Custodes, depending on the matchup, and that's the thing, everyone, when you're looking at that, I'll give that my PSA for the end of the day. When you're looking at a bad match, don't just look at how I kill the match. You have to look at how I just score points into the match. It's just so I win a lot of games that I have no business winning because I just do that. So I just score points and I don't engage. Even with my super aggressive army sometimes. Mazrog, no, because his Mazrog's AP is shit. The army's AP is fairly shit.
That's because they overpointed and under AP close combat weapons.
100%. They took down AP and they took down damage on all the close combat.
And then they overpointed close combat.
Yep.
Close combat only units are, for the most part, overpointed.
Wildly overpointed, by the way.
Yep.
Why? And the thing is that they underperform because they just can't do anything to what the meta is, which is a bunch of T9, 10, and 12 things all over the place. You don't do shit to them. You're like, hey, you hit me with your hand-to-hand unit. Cool. Wound on 6s or 5s or 6s. So,
Yep.
What mission should we play? I'd like to play the first 4 for Nova. Or first 3 for Nova or whatever, Lyle. At the Condo RTT.
Are we putting this in BCP so like I can upload my list and everything?
God, no. we're literally working on
like old school on some index cards.
the better part about this RTT is I want you guys to know that I'll be changing Lyle's list per game as we play.
Oh, okay.
Because we're playing Marines and we want to make some changes, but I kind of want to see more games on the table with the list and then make changes as we go. So what we're going to do is what the French call le cheat. To be honest.
So, Brad, do you even have an army for this weekend?
Absolutely not. I was going to bring DeFrank's army, and He had a car problem because apparently, if you know me, if you try to do something for me, terrible things will happen to you. Lightning struck him, and he had some car problems. And he was going to fix some stuff, so I'm going to figure it out.
Okay.
I'm going to go to Sniggs' house tomorrow, maybe get some stuff, maybe not. Poland's DA list now. Should just use Innis's list. It's a good list.
Lyle wants the aggressors with the apothecary. It's actually really solid. Played against it today.
It's fine, but it's just okay. It's just he loves her. It's funny because Lyle loves aggressors so much. It's crazy. Wait for salamanders, my friend. Wait for salamanders. Speaking of that, we should have Lyle come on just so we can stay milky, everybody.
We should just record that.
True story. On that, everybody, thanks for hanging out with us. We are going to do some either on Sunday or tomorrow night. We're going to stream a game on the DOG on TTS, and I'm just going to coach over Mr. Endy and said opponent, probably Mr. Kyle, but Kyle apparently today started his job as a bounty hunter, so he's a little busy today. So we're going to rock and roll. Thanks for hanging out. Monday night, we'll be doing meta stuff. Tuesday will be, again, Sean and I doing the Deal With It at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, Thursday will be the whatever the hell we decide to go with on Thursday, and I like to keep it like that. If you want to have your models showcased, send them to me, and we can get them up. I'd love to see what everybody's working on moving forward to the year. I'd love to showcase your models and give you some shout-outs. On that note, everybody, Queenswave.